Yo, what up? I'm sorry, man. I'm like, it's weird. Sorry, that's a better. The focus was off. But I'm out in Truckee. I'm heading towards Auburn. Western States Endurance Run is happening, and Odyssey Media, Cuento, and Hoka are doing a thing, and they decided to bring your boy along to do, a little bit of the stuff. All right, a little bit of the stuff, stuff that I do. So I wanted to make this video because I was thinking about something on my way to Auburn, and what I was thinking about was how, like I'm on this trip, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to speak things into existence, but if I get a flat tire or whatever, and these things have happened on jobs before, something happens, and I'm like, well, I got enough money to cover it, it's fine, And I was thinking, like, I remember there were times where I was doing jobs going out 2 hours away, and I didn't have enough money. If something happened, like, I would be screwed, and I just put my faith on the God, square on the God, and I said, man, I hope nothing happens, and I hope, we make it. And so I wanted to, it triggered me to, like, think about that state of mind or that condition of your business, as you're starting out, right? And so, we're in film and photography, and that's what this channel is about, talking about. And in the beginning, especially if you don't have like a steady job and you're just working this and this is all the money you make and you're doing this full time, like a lot of people who have steady jobs used to tell me all the time, man, I wish I could just shoot full time. But if you don't have the stomach to see $0 in your bank account and not freak out and not have a panic attack and not go crazy and just go and hustle and sell, right? If you don't have the stomach for that, then you can't shoot full time. You're like physically incapable of shooting full time because you just don't have, the mental fortitude to experience things like that and not have it drive you to, say that this thing I'm doing is not working. I must go get a job somewhere. And, there's plenty of people who have made the transition from job to full-time gigs. But I think if this is what you really, really want to do, you can shorten the amount of time you spend, trading time either way by doing things full-time, even though it may be difficult. When you're starting out and you don't have a lot of money, you're starting from the bottom, literally, and you're trying to make things happen, you can make the mistake of wanting to save up money all the time and just save money because that way I have a cushion and I can make my rent next month and And there's that's financially prudent, that's wise of you to do that. However, there's a certain limit, there's a certain threshold where you're doing that and you're not investing back in your business and you're not buying new equipment and you're not digging this hole deeper into into this industry that you're immersing yourself into, that you want to feed you, that you want to be your life's career, or at least for a portion of your life to be your career. When you're not investing in that because you're focused on self-preservation, you're actually going to hit a threshold where you're doing the opposite, right? And you're actually limiting your ability to create better opportunities for you, more significant opportunities for you, create opportunities that warrant you charging what you should be charging, and creating opportunities that may prove to be longer lasting, right? Because you're not taking the time to invest in your business and take gigs that people who are 9-to-5ers cannot take because they have a 9-to-5. You're not able to do that. And two, you're not investing in equipment that will help you do the work that you're already going to do to a higher degree. I would have $0 in my bank account, but I just bought a lens, or I just bought a light, or I just bought a recorder, or I just bought whatever. And I'd be having to go on a job 2 hours away to shoot a wedding, 3 hours away, sometimes an hour and a half. And, if I had car trouble, dude, I'd be screwed. I'd have no money to do it. You know what I mean? But what on the flip side of that, what that allowed me to do was every job I did was, you know, better, more efficient than the job that I did last, right? And so my first freelancing year, I did close to 100 projects, right? And it's a lot of projects, but you know, every 2-3 projects, I was able to do better than the last 3. You know what I mean? And so in a year, 30 times, I was able to upgrade the kind of work, that I was doing. This is like way before I had a caravan film cruise kind of thing. It was just me doing work as me. I didn't even really have a website for anything. I was just getting gigs and doing them. And, you know, when you take that kind of approach, you can speed up the timeline of which you're able to charge more, right? When you're not taking that approach, and you know, like, you got to take this with a grain of salt. Like, if you got kids or if you got obligations or whatever, like, you got to really think about that, right? At the time, I didn't have kids. It was just me and my wife. And at the time, we weren't married, you know, so we were just together. And, you know, we were hustling. She was working, I was working, and, you know, we were doing all right. I to be honest, like, I almost never asked her to pay any of the bills. I always covered the bills. Sometimes the bills were late, you know, and sometimes I had to be like, hey, wait till tomorrow, you know what I mean? I'm chasing on this client to pay some money, da, da, da. But for the most part, man, we were good. It was tough. Not to say that it wasn't tough. It was very difficult. But I'm being honest about what to expect when you're starting from scratch and you're just building a business. And now, you know, we're able to charge like a lot of money in order to, and we're able to deliver, you know, and that's the other half. And not only that, but like some of the folks that I work with are able to use a lot of the equipment I got. I got a homie bigger and further down the road than I am, and I'm able to borrow equipment from him sometimes, you know, because he invests in his own equipment. He's buying, you know, $30,000 like projectors and all kind of stuff, you know. So, and then I got another homeboy, man. He's got a whole warehouse full of stuff, and I can borrow stuff from him to do jobs or whatever. And he's got like literally a warehouse full of gear, and because they invest in the business, you know what I mean? And they know, they've seen, and both of them started from the bottom, you know what I mean? Started from zero. Like one of them, the guy who has a warehouse, he was starting from his house in South Sac, and he literally converted the whole living room into like a call center to make sales and do stuff. And the city had to like come in because he was doing so much work out of there. The city had to come in and be like, yo, you can't do that, bro. Like, you gotta get a permit. You need to move to a commercial location. Like, you can't do that here no more. But this is the way people get started, you know? Like, you look at Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon, and they show where these places started, and it was in garages. I think a lot of people have a fantasy in their head about how developing a business from nothing is supposed to go. And they think that they require, you know, getting a commercial space. You know, I won't start this business until I get an office space, I have a warehouse, I get a blah, 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 da, 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 da. Most businesses, they didn't start like that, bro. They started at the bottom. They didn't start with a capital injection from an angel investor, you know what I'm saying, or a VC that gave them some money, and that's how they got started. You're going about it the wrong way, especially an industry that you're very new to, that you don't have a lot of experience in, or a niche market that you're literally carving out of the marketplace in order to do. Like, you don't even know what to know you're gonna need in order to continue. Big difference here. Those are big differences. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say that being cautious is good in the beginning, like in the very, very beginning. But once you hit a threshold of maybe a month to 2 months of comfort for you, and that depends on whether you got kids or whatever, you know, other obligations, taking care of family members, whatever's going on. But once you hit that point, you got to start investing in your own business. You know what I mean? You got to start buying equipment. You got to start buying software or plugins or whatever it is. You know, you got to start paying for stuff. Another thing is, like, I made the mistake of always getting the cheap stuff and doing reviews because if I can save money here and da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. And in some cases, you know, I kind of agree, you know. But two things. One, that when that stuff breaks on you on a job and that's money you spent that you can't get back, it sucks, bro. It sucks. It really sucks. And two, at the higher levels, the quality that is expected of you based on the equipment that you choose to use matters. You know, the features matter. You know, you're playing at a much higher level, dude. Like, you know, when you start doing like $20, $30, $50,000 jobs, like it's a higher level. There's the expectations of what you're able to do, what you're capable of. You know, they require you to be on top of your game. You know, and so I'm of the school of thought to buy once, cry once. You know, you pay that high ticket, but you paid for a quality piece of equipment or gear, whatever, and you know you're all set now. Like you know you're good. You know, you should have no complaints at that point. And it'll be reliable. It'll always work. You know, it'll always do the thing that you need it to do, and it'll show in your work. And you know, the end result is really important. I'd say like the end result is probably 50% of your client's experience. 30% is the way you are on set and how smooth things go on set. And 20% is before you get to set, right? And so, you know, the 20% that you do in terms of pre-production and getting things going, it's important. The 30% is your experience on set, the people you bring on and the way they interact with the client, the way your client is made to feel, you know, that you're providing this service and doing something for them and you're grateful for it, and you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make it a pleasant experience, an accommodating experience, but also one that provides you with the end result, which is probably 50%, right? So like, you know, if you have a client who is, you know, you did a fantastic job on the video, but dealing with them, you were kind of a jerk, and then there wasn't a lot of communication beforehand, they might be like, you know, this client really did some awesome work, but we're going to go find somebody who's going to do good work, but also is cool to deal with and communicates properly. You know, on the flip side, you know, if you were really communicative and you were really professional and a pleasure to be around on set, but you didn't do a great job, they're going to be like, man, Teddy's a nice guy. I can't really rock with his video stuff, though. We got to find somebody else for the next one. But those three things are going to allow you to secure clients over a longer period of time. And then on top of that, you know, the gear that you choose to invest in, the people you invest in, the skills you invest in are going to ensure that the 50% that's more soft skill related is locked in. And the other 50% is a given. So yeah, man, that's my 2 cents, man. You know, I know some of y'all are out there struggling with work, and you know you're thinking about getting a job or whatever, or you know you are doing $300 day rates, and that's good enough. I'm making like $1,200 a week, and I can pay for my bills and my expenses and put some money away. You know, cool, that's cool, but you're not gonna get the $10,000 job with the same equipment that you're doing at $300 a day. You're not going to do it. You need to invest in your stuff. And then, you know, it'll take you 2 months to make 10 grand. You won't even make 10 grand. It'll take you like 2.5 months to make 10 grand. Or maybe it takes 2 months to make 10 grand. But anyway, it takes you 2 months to make 10 grand. And if you had invested that back into your business, you could get a job that could pay you 10 grand and do far less work, man. I have a job right now. You know, I'm getting paid over 15 G's, and I did, so far, I'm in it for about 6 days worth of work, all editing. And I think I got another 3 days of work, maybe 2. I think I can get it in 2. Actually, maybe like 2, yeah, probably 2. So I'd be at 8 days, and, you know, and when I say days, it's not even full days. Like 3 of them were full days. The rest of them were probably like half days. I'd say, you know, these are just revisions. It's like a lot of videos and stuff, but it's revisions that are coming in and all this stuff. And you got to just make the revisions and send them out. So I'm really into it like 5-6 days. You know what I mean? You know, probably at the end of it, it'll probably be like 6 days. So 6 days, made that much. I'm on a job right now. I did the editing last night, this morning. You know what I mean? I did the editing on, you know, the end of full days before, like it's all around my time. And that's how much the job is. And we're doing it to a degree. I mean, so far the client feedback is so great. Probably gonna lock them in for another job when they have one. The other thing is they already hired us to do something else, and they loved the way we did that, and that's why I'm getting this. And we got paid it was like a $30,000 contract to do that other thing. So and that's what I'm saying, man. I'm speaking to you from experience, dude. Like I'm trying to tell you that if this is what worked for me, maybe it doesn't work for you, maybe, but if you don't know what works and you're just making it up as you go along, try what I'm saying, bro. Try it. Give it a shot. It might work. But yeah, man, that's my 2 cents. All right. Love you. Be safe. Peace. Check out this view. Whoo, check out this view. Whoo. You know what I'm saying? It's nice out here.